Book of Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 6 in the NLT. For I was angry with my chosen people and punished them by letting them fall into your hands. But you, Babylon, America, showed them no mercy. You oppressed even the elderly. You said I will reign forever as a queen of the world. You did not reflect on your actions or think about your consequences. Listen to this, you pleasure-loving kingdom, living at ease and feeling secure. You say, I am the only one and there is no other. I will never be a widow or lose my children. Well, both these things will come upon you in a moment, widowhood and the loss of your children. Yes, these calamities will come upon you despite all your witchcraft and magic. You feel secure in your wickedness. No one sees me, you said, but your wisdom and knowledge have led you astray. And you said, I am the only one and there is no other. So disaster will overtake you and you won't be able to charm it away. Calamity will fall upon you and you won't be able to buy your way out. A catastrophe will strike you suddenly, one for which you are not prepared. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Hawashai, Wahara Kakwadash, the honors of the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect that seeking to be the elect of the nation of Israel. They're scattered abroad amongst the heathen, some look like the heathen, beginning at 144,000. Preachers, teachers, and prophets, Shalom. Got right here Fox News 6 hours ago. Pentagon warns future wars may hit U.S. soil. Direct military threats grow. And this video is not talking about that. My fault, y'all. A loud vehicle drove by. Yeah, this video right here is not talking about that. But the scripture we just read is it's a future prophecy. Hey, calamities, meaning catastrophes, disasters are going to hit America. And America's not going to be able to put it off, charm the way out of it, buy the way out of it. It's a time of judgment. All right? Now, you get second address. Now, I can't get it out, my fault. I'm going to let, this video I got on YouTube, it's an AI video, so bear with it. You know, it's like 7 minutes. They're going to read it, read the article. All right. This second address, I'm sorry, chapter 15. And, 49. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death, and the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall rise that is sent over thee, meaning the calamity is the judgment, the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shah. Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. It says, would I with jealousy have proceeded against thee, said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, if thou hast not always slain my chosen, us Israelites. It's saying the same thing Isaiah saying. Exalting the stroke of thine hands and saying over their dead, when thou was drunken, set forth the beauty of thy countenance. The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom, therefore shalt thou receive recompense, reward, judgment. All right? Like as thou hast done unto my chosen, said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, even so shall God Yahweh do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief. Thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall to the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread, and for thirst of water. Thou as unhappy shalt come through the sea, and receive plagues again. It says, so these calamities are going to hit America, right? And you're not going to be happy about it. Just going into how these are the times of judgment, man, and what's coming upon Babylon, what's coming upon America. And in the passage, they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy some portion of thy land, and consume part of thy glory, and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. You see? So these plagues, these calamities, including these nations, are going to attack America. Some way, shape, form, or fashion, man. And then the missile's going to come. The nuclear missile's going to finish it off, along with our Lord Yahweh and angels. So let's read to the end. And thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto thee as fire, and shall consume thee, and thy cities, thy land, and thy mountains, all thy woods, and thy fruitful trees shall be burned up with fire. You see? And that's what's coming to America, man. All right? America going to get attacked, and then it's going to get finished off by the missiles that the nation's going to shoot. All right? It says, thy children shall they carry away captive, and look what thou hast, they shall spoil it, and mar the beauty of thy face. See, this place is going to be finished, man. All right? Your elites going into captivity. Okay? They're not going to be on the soil of America. All right? The elites of America, no. They back east somewhere, man. All right? And you Edomites that's left over after the destruction that's in the eastern hemisphere, y'all ass is going into captivity. All right? But just going into how, this place is going to be spoiled, man. It's going to know the loss of widowhood and children, calamities, attacks by other nations. Since, as we read, since America wanted to attack other nations, Yahweh Shemash are going to attack this place. And as we read Isaiah 47 and 2 Esdras 15, Yahweh Shemash is doing this because you touched the nation of Israel. See, you Americans fail to realize that Yahweh Shemash is judging America for what they've done to the Israelites, for blaspheming the name of Yahweh Shemash. Y'all forgot that part. Now let's get this real quick. Revelation. 18 and 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God Yahweh has avenged you on her. So you see, Yahweh Shema Shai is going to judge America for what they did to the nation of Israel. Hey, also you can read that Ezekiel 35. You see? For coming up against Yahweh Shema Shai, changing up the doctrine, the image. All right? The names. Talking about we not the chosen people. All of that. See, this place is gonna get, this whole chapter going to the judgment of America too. Let me see. Ezekiel 35. Let's start at 11. Let's start at 10. It says, because thou said, just talking about Babylon, matter of fact, let's prove it. Talking about America. Ezekiel 35 and 1, moreover the word, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. It's talking about America. It's end time prophecy, and say unto it, thus said the Lord God Yahweh Shema Shai, behold, I am O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee desolate, and I will make thee most desolate. You see? So I just want that point where it's talking about Mount Seir, which is America. Okay? Now, when you jump down to verse 10, it says, because thou hast said these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Let's read the NLT. For you said the lands of Israel and Judah, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom of Israel, y'all know who y'all, will be ours. See, y'all not saying that about the Israelis. Hell, y'all ain't saying Israel and Judah, which are two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. No, they just claim to be the southern kingdom. Well, they just claiming to be the Jews. They're not saying they Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They're just saying they are Jews. Judah. They don't know shit. For you said the lands of Israel and Judah will be ours. We will take possession of them. What do we care that the Lord is there? Therefore, as surely as I live, says the sovereign Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, I will pay back your angry deeds with my own. I will punish you for all your acts of anger, envy, and hatred, and I will make myself known to Israel by what I do to you. Remember, America and Israel and the land of Israel, the Israelis, the state of Israel is going to get destroyed at the same time. So you know, this is not talking about the people over there in the land that the Lord is going to avenge. No, it's talking about us over here in America. They're scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth. So-called Negroes, Native American Indians, Hispanics, Latinos, Jamaicans, and Haitians, man. The true biblical Hebrew Israelites. Then you will know that I, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, have heard every contemptuous word you spoke against the mountains of Israel. For you said they are desolate, they have been given to us as food to eat. And y'all constantly devouring us too, man. Alright? Having y'all way with us, man. And saying that you boasted proudly against me. And I have heard it all. This is what the sovereign Lord Yahweh Shema Shah says. The whole world will rejoice when I make you desolate. You rejoice at the desolation of Israel's territory. Now will I rejoice at yours. You will be wiped out, you people of Mount Seir, and all who live in Edom. Then you will know that I am the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. So the Lord gonna wipe out America and all its citizens, man. Alright, you damn Edomites. And also all the heathen that's here, and 2/3 of Israel that want to cleave unto him. Alright? Now, real quick, all these are part of the calamities as well. So let's get this joint real quick before we play this video. Let me see. It says another government shutdown is looming. This one could hit differently in the economy. So you see, man, hey, the government shutdown coming up. All right, it's coming up. Hey, we're gonna see what they're gonna do. Hey, one thing that's a part of the funding is ICE. We hit that, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday. All right, so we're gonna play this clip. Let's see. We're gonna let AI read it, but before we get it, oh, that must have been it. Seemed like I had something else. Okay. Well, let's play this clip. I think that's the shortest one. The one going into government funding. Anyway. Let me see. That's a dude right there, y'all. I was watching it. Then this article came up and I started going into it. Then just by his voice, I said, yeah, it's a damn dude. Then as I watch, it's a damn dude, a damn straight up nigga. I'm gonna finish watching the video too. The brother, Manata Zakbar from South Carolina. Let me see where it is. I was just watching the video. You know what? I didn't watch it. I put it on later. Sorry about that. I think this is it right here. Yeah, this is it. Hey, right now, it says Democratic lawmakers dig in against bill to fund ICE as deadline for government funding looms. So it's going to the last article we just read. Let's see what they got to say. I hadn't watched it yet. Then we'll play the other video. And that'll be it. All these are part of the calamities. But you most definitely know and understand that, hey, America is going to get attacked by these other nations. We read it.
Hey, right now, Democrats in Congress are threatening not to fund DHS in the wake of this weekend's deadly shooting of Alex Preddy. This could lead to a partial government shutdown. Scripps News' Nathaniel Reed is here with me on set in D.C. And Nate, we head towards the end of the week here where the government does run out of funding. What do things look like at this hour?
Well, look, there's a lot of questions about, how Democrats will allow this funding package to move forward. Worth noting that there is a whole lot of bills that still need to pass the Senate to avert a government shutdown. And 5 of those 6 bills, not controversial, but one of them, the Department of Homeland Security bill, is controversial, and the vast majority of Democrats in the Senate have come out and said that they will not support this bill as it stands. They're willing to pass 5 of those bills, the 5 other government funding bills, but not that final bill that Republicans and Democrats have largely been feuding over in recent weeks. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the response that we've seen from Republicans up to this stage. Republicans would basically need to work with Democrats to separate out the Department of Homeland Security funding bill from the other funding bills that, Democrats and Republicans are looking to pass. So far, we've seen a number of Republican senators calling for investigations. Not a lot further than that, with the exception of Senator John Curtis, the Republican of Utah, who just actually quite point blank posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying that he, quote, disagrees with Secretary Noem's premature DHS response, which came before all the facts were known and weakened confidence. I will be working with a bipartisan group of senators to demand real oversight and transparency. That from Republican Senator John Curtis of Utah. And to be clear, while that's not saying that he'll work with Democrats to separate Homeland Security funding from the other 5 government funding bills, certainly shows that this is something that is breaking through to Republican senators, in part because of the Second Amendment issue, the fact that Alex Preddy was shot while open carrying a gun. Not a whole lot of evidence from some of those videos we've seen that he was actually threatening people with the gun or actually removed it from its holster. At the same time, Republicans, a lot of them very staunch Second Amendment supporters, kind of making clear that they have a lot of questions about how all of this went down. And furthermore, that begs the question of whether they'll allow Democrats to make changes to a government funding bill.
Yeah, and right now the House is out, right?
Yep.
They are not coming back this week. So would any changes would result in some sort of emergency flyback, or would they have to wait until February?
There's no indication that the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, would have the House of Representatives come back early at this stage. And just as another complicated matter, obviously, it's a snow week. A lot of questions about what they could get across the finish line at this point, whether he'd be willing to call lawmakers back, and if they'd even have enough lawmakers back to work out some sort of deal moving forward. That being said, I can see certainly some resistance to Republicans changing their funding plan for the Department of Homeland Security. But there's always the question of, how much disruption are they willing to stomach, and are they, confident that it would be Democrats blamed for a partial government shutdown instead of Republicans. I was just speaking in the newsroom. It's the reason I dashed in here to our White House correspondent, Haley Bull, and our conversation, we were talking about the likelihood of a shutdown. At this point, Andrew, there will be at least a partial government shutdown this weekend, unless hearts or minds change in some way or another. That shutdown could be as small as just the Department of Homeland Security. ICE, by the way, has its own bucket of funding. They'll continue their operations. But it could be as large as all of those departments that you just saw on your screen a moment ago. There's a whole lot of departments that are waiting for their funding in this second funding package that Democrats and Republicans, up until a couple days ago, had been working on in a bipartisan manner.
All right, a busy week already for you. It's only going to get more intense. Our congressional correspondent, Nate Reed, with us. Nate, thank you.
Y'all got to pick a side and pick it right.
There you have it. There you have it. So, we can see how this play out. Now let's play the video about Pentagon warns future.
That can reach the continental.
Future wars may hit U.S. soil as direct military threats grow.
Pentagon warns future wars may hit U.S. soil as direct military threats grow. Fox News' Charlie Hurt has the latest on the breaking news, and President Donald Trump's meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Jesse Watters' primetime. The Pentagon's newly released National Defense Strategy warns that future wars may no longer be fought solely overseas, arguing the U.S. military must be prepared to conduct combat operations directly from the American homeland, as adversaries gain the ability to strike the United States itself. The strategy, released Friday evening, elevates homeland defense above all other missions, calling for expanded missile defense, counter-drone systems, cyber capabilities, and long-range strike forces capable of launching decisive operations from U.S. soil. Pentagon planners describe a global threat environment that is faster, more dangerous, and far less forgiving than in past decades. The joint force must be ready to deter and, if called upon, to prevail, including the ability to launch decisive operations against targets anywhere, including directly from the U.S. homeland. The strategy states, more direct military threats to the American homeland have also grown in recent years, including nuclear threats as well as a variety of conventional strike and space, cyber, electromagnetic warfare capabilities. It adds, China's global aggression check, Taiwan tensions, military posturing, and U.S. response. In 2025, Russia and China both field intercontinental ballistic missiles that can reach the continental United States, while North Korea has tested long-range missiles that U.S. officials say are capable of hitting U.S. territory. Iran is not believed to possess intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching U.S. soil. Russia and China both field intercontinental ballistic missiles that can reach the continental United States. THNGQ/AFP via Getty Images. As a result, the Pentagon will prioritize President Donald Trump's planned Golden Dome missile defense shield, with a focus on defeating large missile barrages and other advanced aerial attacks, while also hardening military and key civilian infrastructure against cyber strikes. The United States should never, will never, be left vulnerable to nuclear blackmail, the strategy says, as it calls for continued modernization of the nation's nuclear deterrent. After years of focusing on a potential conflict with China in the Indo-Pacific, the strategy makes clear the Pentagon will seek what it calls a stable peace with Beijing, including expanded military-to-military communications. War Department focuses on AI, hypersonics, and directed energy in major strategy overhaul. We will also be clear-eyed and realistic about the speed, scale, and quality of China's historic military buildup, the document says. Our goal is simple: to prevent anyone, including China, from being able to dominate us or our allies. Pentagon planners argue deterrence will rely less on confrontation and more on denying China the ability to win a fight outright, particularly in the Western Pacific, by blocking attempts to dominate U.S. allies or control key maritime routes. But China is not the only concern. Trump writes national security playbook as mass migration overtakes terrorism as top U.S. threat. The strategy warns the United States could face multiple crises at the same time, with adversaries acting together or exploiting moments of distraction, raising the risk that conflicts overseas could overlap and reach the homeland early. To manage that risk, the Pentagon is pressing allies to shoulder more of the burden. The strategy calls on European and Indo-Pacific partners to dramatically increase defense spending, freeing U.S. forces to focus on homeland defense and the most dangerous threats. Pentagon will prioritize President Donald Trump's planned Golden Dome missile defense shield, with a focus on defeating large missile barrages and other advanced aerial attacks, strategy said. Chip Samodviller/Getty Images. The document also sharpens the Pentagon's focus closer to home, treating border security, drug trafficking, and access to key terrain as core military missions. It calls for readiness to take decisive action against narco-terrorist groups and to protect strategic locations, including the Panama Canal and Greenland. Distance, the strategy argues, is no longer a shield. Long-range missiles, cyber weapons, and drones now allow adversaries to reach the United States directly, compressing warning times and raising the risk that future wars could hit American soil early. To keep pace, the Pentagon calls for a rapid rebuild of the U.S. defense industrial base, warning that America must be able to produce weapons and equipment at scale if it hopes to deter, or survive, a prolonged fight. The strategy describes Russia as a serious but declining threat, warning Moscow still poses dangers through its nuclear arsenal and cyber, space, and undersea capabilities, even as the Pentagon argues Europe is now capable of taking the lead in its own defense. North Korea has tested long-range missiles that U.S. officials say are capable of hitting U.S. territory. KCNA via Reuters. Russia will remain a persistent but manageable threat to NATO Eastern members for the foreseeable future, the document says, noting Russia continues to modernize the world's largest nuclear arsenal. The strategy makes clear Washington expects NATO allies to shoulder far more responsibility, arguing Europe's economic and military potential far outpaces Russia's if allies invest accordingly. On Iran, the Pentagon paints a picture of a regime weakened by recent U.S. and Israeli military action but still dangerous and unpredictable. Click here to download the FOX News app. Iran's regime is weaker and more vulnerable than it has been in decades, the strategy says, while warning Iran's leaders have left open the possibility that they will try again to obtain a nuclear weapon. The document stresses Tehran's continued hostility toward the United States and Israel, noting Iran has the blood of Americans on its hands, and emphasizes empowering allies, particularly Israel and U.S. partners in the Gulf, to deter Iran and respond decisively if American interests are threatened. Iran regularly touts its ballistic missile arsenal as a central pillar of its deterrent and retaliatory strategy, showcasing new medium-range and hypersonic systems and warning they can strike regional rivals and U.S. interests in the Middle East. China, meanwhile, has pushed back strongly against the U.S. Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative, accusing Washington of undermining global strategic stability and risking the weaponization of outer space.
Yeah, there you have it. Sorry about that. I wasn't about to read all that, man, in the article. So there you have it. And real quick, what is I'm looking at it on my other phone. Let's see. It says, yeah, right here, and it's another one too. Check this out. It's backing up what we went into earlier today. Law against law. 5 hours ago, raw story. Immigration officers fear Trump just doomed their jobs. Quote, we lost all trust, end quote. This place finished, man. A federal kill for your car is coming. And neither Democrats nor Republicans will stop it. Hey, you do some vehicles, you get to have a loan on your car. And they'll put a switch in there to shut your car off if you don't make the payments. This is the same type of technology. Alright? Which, as things continue to advance, and we move forward with profits concerning this digital system, this universal basic income, the social credit score system, this B system, well, how you think they can control your vehicles and how you travel? Alright? You get out of line, turn your car off. It's all about control. Let's read a little bit. The federal government is moving. Matter of fact, let's get Micah real quick. Micah, I think it's the 5th chapter. Micah 5. Micah 5. I will cut off your horses and chariots. Micah chapter 5. I believe. Yep, the water how about Shai. And 10, and it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord Yahweh Shai, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots. It says, I will cut off the cities of thy land and throw down all thy strongholds. All right, it's going to the destruction of America. But hey, also, scriptures are many-fold. Esau is eventually going to cut off, transportation and things of that nature. But this you can read the article for you. So I just wanted the headline. Really, I was reading it while the AI was talking, reading, whatever. But yeah, you can read it for yourself. Stay prayed up in the names of Yahweh Shai. Shalom.